I listened to Nirvana. I grew up on Nirvana and also like the Prodigy and like I also back then was listening to many different bands and so on. But probably the biggest influence is Nirvana, where everything started for me. Ah, really?
No, we didn't see them. But sorry. Yes, I follow Maxime from Prodigy. I think his persona on stage is absolutely amazing, and I've always loved Prodigy as well growing up. I've seen them live a couple of times. We haven't been at the show now because we were on tour ourselves, but I'll gladly watch them live whenever I have a chance.
The first band I've ever listened to was Red Hot Chili Peppers, and it's basically one of the main reasons I start to play bass, because the bass is very prominent in their music. And right after, I start listening more to metal music because my mother has always been metalhead, so that's how I was introduced to that genre. And so I started with Metallica, Rob Zombie, and many others.
It is hard to say what came actually first. I think it mainly because of MTV when I was a teenager. MTV used to be really fun and cool, and it was not discriminating when it comes to metal. And I also discovered for myself a lot of music. That's when I started understanding that music really speaks to me. I loved many bands, but in the alternative genre, Nirvana was one of the first ones for me as well. I was like 13 years old. But I continued listening to radio stations because that was the only place I could hear music besides MTV at the time. And the only accessible radio station when I was a teenager was this Russian radio station that had a couple of hours in Moldova as well, which was mainly, they had alternative and metal Russian bands. Some bands not necessarily from Russia, but from ex-USSR as well, for sure. So I've discovered a lot of music thanks to that radio station. I'm gonna be honest. I was calling to like you could call and sing a piece of a song that you want to play, and that was like probably my first time I was ever singing is over the phone to a radio station. So that was really cool. But slowly I started discovering that music really is important for me, and I have to have it. So I invested in cassettes when I first had the cassette player, and I remember I bought with my very first money, I bought 2 albums that really significantly helped me understand some more in heavier music. And I bought Slipknot Iowa and I bought Sepultura Roots, but I did not know what I'm buying. I didn't know the bands. No one told me who they were. I just liked the covers and I bought it. So I still, till this day, love these 2 albums very much.
For me, actually, I was very small, and my father sometimes tell me, listen this solo, with Pink Floyd, because he liked a lot Pink Floyd, and just listen this solo, it's cool. And of course, after this, me and my brother started listening to Nirvana, like Vidik, and Nirvana changed our life.
They don't. They don't, unfortunately. Unfortunately, Moldova is a very small country, and being a very small ex-USSR country limits certain things. Of course, when I say certain, I really mean certain things, only because our parents and grandparents used to live in the USSR era where not much was available, not much was accessible, and not much was even permitted. So definitely our grandparents and parents' age didn't have the chance to share a big knowledge of music, specifically in metal, because it's so different to our generation or generation younger than us. I have younger sisters, and I had to introduce them to metal and to music in general. They are not metalheads, but they adore metal. They listen to different music, and I'm very proud of that. I unfortunately did not have a parent, in my case, that like Eugene, that was sharing some music with me. But every family is very different. If you come from a family that travels some more, it's completely different. And of course, Italy not being ex-USSR country, you see the difference how the mother would go to metal festivals and take the child with her. That's amazing. Like certain stories she's telling me, absolutely amazing. We love her mom so much. She's so cool. Yeah.
It's always slightly different from album to album, and the last album we had a new setup, new everything, and we had to start to learn to work in this new setup, and this is why it was special, this album that we released time. And the next album, I think it will be also something very different, not music wise, but how we will work on it.
Do you produce your material?
No, we write with the band music, and when it's like the songs are done, we record it at home, but then we record it properly already for the album. But we have pre-productions, of course, so we can listen many times what do we need to fix and stuff. No, everybody can write something or put a song together or take another song and work on that direction. So there's always something to work on. Some songs are done right away. It's like nothing to say. Some songs takes more time and involves the whole band to create different elements. So it's very different always. Normally we would have many songs written already during the whole time between the albums. It doesn't matter if we stopped. If we just released an album, we already would write. So in this case, probably will be a little bit different this time.
The lyrics can get quite emotional, and she's always in the studio with me to help me, and yeah.
Does she sometimes agree or disagree to?
She always agrees. She's a big fan, number one fan. Yes.
Fan number one and security.
And security, yes. Yes, absolutely. To Vidic, he is our main idea bringer. We often develop his ideas into something either completely different or something exactly what he wanted into something like more evolved and more detailed. But he's very talented when it comes to that, when it comes to like designs, albums, ideas, videos. He's very talented like that. I can only tell you that we did not plan in advance to have such a conceptual album because we've never done it before. This is our first conceptual album, and after, this is album number 6, so I actually didn't even think or plan to go in one direction only, but it was going that way almost right away, and I'm so happy with the way things turned out. But he will tell you more for sure.
Normally, always we just, if the album is coming soon, we need a name for the album, and we are open for all the options. It's not like I have here priority to bring always the names or something. It's everybody can bring ideas and future concepts for the album and stuff like that. It just happened that it fell into piece, like everything. I offered this album name, but we had like many, like 20 albums, different names, and when this one, we're like, okay, this one is for sure. So we don't need even to discuss it.
And it was really funny because of Dying Light, because Dying Light was our first single, and we released it almost a year before the album came out, and we wanted to introduce our new bass player, and that song already was leaning towards the theme of time, the theme of what we do with this time, what time does to us, and so on. So it was kind of all just together, just happened together. So it's always give or take the same. We try to work with the same team. We hired the same people to help us on the set, especially even before, but especially every single music video from this album was directed and edited by Vidic. When I say he's talented, I mean it. And I really, really love to get creative with visuals and come out with ideas how things will look like. Because of my previous job, I used to be a hair and makeup artist before I became a musician. So I really like creating, some ideas about costumes. But of course, all together we sit down and we talk about details. We talk about ideas, and everybody brings something interesting to the table, and then we end up filming it. But yeah, I don't know how he gets all these ideas, to be honest. The latest music video, the only thing that it was a visual music video, so it doesn't have quite a story. But I had in mind this wall that was all full with threads, and to play with it, to even maybe eventually do a photo shoot with, like, I just got inspired by something I saw years ago, and I always wanted to do something similar. And our crew built that wall for hours, and then I ruined that wall in like an hour. So like, it depends on the music video, but like, for example, Lighthouse had initial idea that we developed in what you see now, and thanks to a pendant that actually Alice had, I was like, what if I do an enchantment with this pendulum, and all together it just worked out nicely. Yeah. But yeah, if you want to see.
And I don't know, maybe a fact that we filmed Lighthouse and Pandemonium in one day on the same place. So it was yeah, very long day, but in one day 2 music videos. Yeah.
We'll tell you more than that. We filmed in 2 days 3 music videos, because I let you one day and next day 2 music videos. So it was a busy summer last summer. Very busy. And there's one more really interesting visual video that will come out soon for another song from this album. I can't wait. We filmed it in a very special place, and it has a very special message. Yeah. It will be released this year, but I can't tell you any dates yet. It's a secret. Interesting. I was listening to the new album of Kitty's. Yeah, Kitty, I guess. I was very curious about their newer album because I heard their new single and they came back together. And Kitty is a band that I also discovered through MTV long ago. I knew there was 2 music videos, I believe, that were going around when it was dark outside, and I was very curious, and I'm spinning that right now.
Let's say, I don't know, Slayer. I don't know.
Slayer.
Well, I have a lot of different genre on my playlist because lately I've started listening to a lot of electronic music because I got really, in love with a Finnish singer that participated to Eurovision, which is Kerja. But at the same time, which is really a contrast, I am getting ready for the Australian tour with Cradle of Filth. So lately I've been listening to a lot of their songs because I was listening to them when I was at school, and so I'm like, refreshing my memory. Yes.
I listen to a lot of music. I have different playlists on Spotify for different moods, if it's metal or just softer music. But most of the time I listen to ambient music and Brian Eno, for example, the artist, and I really like all his works. So like very, very soft, chill music for me.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Well, we are going to play, and we are going to pack after. There's always some work after, and as soon as we've done that, we start seeing, okay, who's playing now? Yeah, so thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your questions. And I hope you guys are coming to the show. Yeah? All right.